Tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast, go. Epic CEO admits he would have taken a special deal if it had been offered. Children using Android are a gazillion times more likely to have their data pilfered. Well, actually, at least 8 times, but that's close to a gazillion. Apple could overtake HP in that all-important, all-in-one computer market with the new iMac, and more updates for security patches and blah blah blah. More updates for security patches for iOS and the Mac OS. What are we? Microsoft? All that tonight and more on the Mac to the Future livecast. Go. And hello, everyone. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us tonight on the Mac to the Future Go livecast. David Ginsburg could not join us this evening because he had David Ginsburg things to do. That's exactly how that works. But I am not alone. I am joined by Mr. Warren Sklar. Hello there, Mr. Warren Sklar. How are you, sir?
Normally, I also have David Ginsburg things to do, just not tonight.
The same kind of David Ginsburg things?
Because
that's weird.
Yeah, I'd hang out with his wife. I'd tool around Chicago.
In a Dodge Charger.
I work wherever he works, wherever that might be. So
no, even if we knew, we wouldn't say.
No, I'm good. It's good. I took a little vacation last week.
You did.
After I talked to you, I went to Naples, Florida,
yeah.
and I could show everybody my
your peeling, sunburn,
the burn and the peeling.
Yeah, should I do that song again or
no?
Or not?
No.
Probably
peelings,
not. Peelings, nothing more than peelings. Let's see. Yeah, copyright free. I don't think so. Yeah. If I sing more than that, then yeah, we'll get a copyright strike. We have. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What?
I said my mother was calling me. So, when you get a phone call, during a podcast,
yeah,
your watch rings, the Mac rings, the Mac in the other room rings.
Everything just starts going
eventually
off.
The phone rings. You just have to find the right decline. You have to find the right decline button first. Like you're racing to figure out which decline button you have to hit.
And all the rest of the devices are like, no, we're not going to let this go.
That's happened.
You're committed.
Oh,
yeah.
She left a voicemail. Oh, no.
Now where were you in Florida? Down in Naples?
This is Naples, Florida.
So, that's on the Panhandle, right?
Yeah.
Or close to the Panhandle?
Actually it's closer to. You're closer to Miami than anything. It's actually probably about. It's about.
Oh, that's south of Tampa, isn't it? On the West Coast.
Oh yeah, it's about 2-hour drive to Miami from there. So it's not that it's not that north. It's pretty south. So it's like
my parents lived in Fort Myers for a while, which is
that's where we flew into. We flew into that airport, and it was 20 minutes.
That is a little ass airport. It really is. I don't know what it's like now.
No, it's the world's the country's largest one runway airport. Is what they say.
Oh, is that what they say? Is that what they say about that airport?
The country's largest one runway airport.
Well, I know a couple of times when I've flown out of there, there was like no other flights that were coming in or out. It's like, why is this airport here? I never could understand, because you've got Orlando is only a few hours away, and Tampa's just up the coast. Tampa St. Pete. Miami and Fort Lauderdale just on the other side of I-75.
But everything would have been far from Naples. That was the closest one to Naples. So
yeah,
that's a pretty big touristy thing. Ritzy, big houses, expensive
Sure.
cars.
Movie
You know,
stars, black gold, Texas
uh,
teas. I don't know why I'm starting to sing about the Beverly Hillbillies.
I don't
That's
know.
weird. So should we let's talk about some Apple stuff.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I forgot to ask you this. Did Dave say he was going to be doing uh In Touch with iOS tomorrow night, or do you know?
I actually don't know, to be honest with you. I'm assuming. I haven't heard otherwise, but
Okay.
yeah.
All
My
right. So everyone make sure you stick around. Well, don't stick around for that because that's not till tomorrow night, but keep your eyes and ears open for that for tomorrow. Epic's CEO Tim Sweeney admitted on the stand that he would have taken a special deal from Apple in regards to the App Store, undercutting Epic's claim that they were fighting for all developers, which pretty much was crap from the moment he said it. He also admitted that 30%, and he couldn't not admit it, is the same for most major outlets selling Epic's add-ons, and also that part of the reason for wanting to sell V-Bucks outside of Apple's control was for impulse buys. Because accounts to purchase must be authenticated, that's less likely to happen in Apple's app store, since most of the people that are playing some of these games are their kids, so they don't have credit cards and all the rest of that. The funniest bit, Warren, came from an email that Sweeney sent to Tim Cook in 2015, and Tim Cook had to be reminded who Tim Sweeney was. He had no idea. He was like, "Who is this guy? I don't know who he is." So I guess this is the start of the latest long going court battle between Apple and other companies. It seems like it wasn't that long ago when what was the other long running one that went on for like ever? Samsung, or
There was definitely an Apple Samsung out there, but
yeah, what there was,
that was it. Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's it.
and
Uh,
these the main difference between these court battles with Apple and these other companies in Apple and Epic is almost all of these other companies that Apple was having these legal battles with. Those companies had other sources of revenue than just the one thing that they were fighting with Apple about. Whereas Epic is pretty much just Fortnite for the most part. I mean, that's their main moneymaker. So without Fortnite, and Fortnite has now been off iOS year and a half. Has it been over like about a year and a half when all this started?
I don't think it's been that long, but actually, maybe was it before the pandemic? I think it was before
Yeah,
the pandemic.
it was before the pandemic.
Because
So
I
we're
remember
talking.
people stopped talking about it for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now it's it finally in the courts. I mean, and there was lots of talk as Epic and or Apple spread this out around the world. There was the thing in Australia and other countries as well. And to be without a major source of your income, and iOS was a big part of their income for over a year. That's got to be hurting them at this point. And Sweeney's problem now also, I think, is ego. How does he get out of this if Apple just says, nope, we're not going to change our minds? He has to hope that the courts will make a decision soon, or the gaming community is going to move on to something else. And
So what?
these are fun games, but for the most part,
what's the
a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then something else takes its place.
what's the decision now? What's the outcome that they're looking for? Epic. Do they want money?
I'm not hearing you.
Hello.
Hold on. It could be my headphones. Say something.
Hello.
Nope,
Hello.
it's you. Something on your end just died. But you can hear me. Hold on.
Are you there? Hello.
Can Adam? Can you hear
Hello,
Warren?
hello, hello, hello. Hello, can I hear you? Yeah, it's you, guy. He can hear both of us.
Go ahead, say something, Warren.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, no, it's me. There's more nonsense with Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's definitely not me.
This is I had hoped that this was done because it had worked. It had worked pretty well when I was talking to Gaz last week. So I'll just switch over to the cans, even though I don't like wearing these. But I'm not going to waste a lot of time.
Are you there now?
Yeah, I hear you
Hey,
now.
yeah. So I was like trying to talk to you within that whole 15-minute rant that you were doing with the Epic, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
I wasn't hearing anything you were saying. I'm so sorry.
What I was wondering why we're spending 15 minutes on this Epic topic. I'm like, let's go. Let's move to something else.
So well, what are your thoughts on it? Because I guess I just kind of monopolized the conversation.
You said something. The last thing you said, I was gonna counterpoint on it, and I'm trying to remember what the last point you made, but it was
About Epic.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, what is the outcome that Epic is trying to get? What's the decision? Is it money, or is it the ability to come back into the Play Store, or is it the ability to come back into Play Store with a better rate, things like that? So I'm not sure what they're actually asking for, to be honest with you.
Oh, David is there.
David is there?
I think it's mostly so that Apple will let them back into, they can sell again in the iOS App Store, and Epic won't have to share revenue with Apple.
Okay.
That's what their main goal is, and that's always what their main goal has been.
If Apple lets them back in the App Store and gives them a deal of 15%, like Netflix and some of the other places, I wonder if that's something they would accept. There's
maybe.
There's going to be questions about it once they get to that point.
So Adam was saying that they still get revenue from all of the Unreal Engine and other technology licensing. And that's true, Unreal. But I don't think that's anywhere near as much as they get from add-ons to other, to people buying clothes or weapons or whatever. I've never played Fortnite, so I've seen it played, but I've never played it myself. So in order to make themselves stand out while playing the game, because I think there's like 6 main characters, and so you can buy these add-ons so that you look different, and that all costs real money, V-Bucks.
All right.
Okay. Well, let's you ready to move on from that?
Yeah, we spent way too much time with that. So
okay. So we had technical issues. Sorry about that. Mac OS 11.4.2 beta is now out, offers better support for AMD graphics cards. Now, how many, don't most Macs use that, have built-in graphics cards? Aren't they using, what's the other one? God, my brain is just not working tonight.
Do you need some coffee there? What are you asking? The Macs usually they have either AMD or Intel graphics, depending on which model they had.
Well, no, there's another discrete graphics card maker that they use.
Is there? Yeah. I only know the AMD and the Intel, but anyways, so there's a lot of machines that have AMD graphics in them.
Yeah,
not all of them, but a lot of them. So good. I didn't even know there was a problem, but there you go.
Okay, well, again, this might be related to that it's Mac OS 11. So maybe there were some problems with Big Sur for built-in graphics cards. Okay, An iPhone 13 dummy, not that we're judging, shows a smaller notch on the top and a relocated speaker. So they relocated a speaker from the bottom up to the top near the notch itself, according to this manufacturing dummy that somebody was showing somewhere, probably over into China. So I guess that's supposed to be like one of the big differences when the iPhone 13 comes out. Now, are you planning on getting the 13, or are you happy with the 12 that you have now?
No, I never plan to buy it, but I always will get it. So
you always do.
So that's every year. So
yeah, I'm still on the iPhone SE. I'm quite happy with that.
And I never say that I'm not gonna buy it until I start knowing what it is.
NVIDIA, that's the other graphics maker.
There you go. But yeah, a smaller notch and a redesigned, a relocated speaker. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Well, chances are they'll also probably switch from Lightning to USB-C / Thunderbolt, or go strictly. I don't know. Do you think that this is not really part of our subject tonight? Do you think that Apple and iPhone users are ready to go completely wireless with wireless charging and all the rest of that? Or do you think it's still premature?
It's probably premature because wireless charging is still not as good as cable charging in a lot of ways. And so until they fix all that, that will be an issue. And I'm not convinced they're going to put USB-C or Thunderbolt on the phone next year either. I think they're just going to continue with Lightning for now.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
No, everything else is gone for Apple. You rarely see any all of the new M1s coming out. They don't even have USB 2.
Right, but if you notice, it's the
low end machines, sure.
No, but
so far,
most normal people who have an iPhone will be more upset about having to buy new accessories and chargers and things like that for their phone than having a different connector. Whereas iPads, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Whereas iPads, the pros are using USB-C while the consumer ones are still using Lightning. The pros might care more about the different connector, and the non-pros really don't care. They don't want to buy different accessories. That's my thought.
Okay, well, that could be. Though it's not like Apple hasn't done it before, just jumped from one connector to another.
Yeah, they get a lot of heat for it.
Yeah, but they get a lot of heat for a lot of the stuff they do. They don't seem to care. Adam says, please no. Yeah, he also says M1 CPUs do indeed have USB. They don't have USB-A ports, and the USB 2 controller uses the same external bus as USB 3.
All USB 4 and below are backwards compatible with USB 2 or whatever.
Okay, and I had forgotten. Yes, the Mac Mini does have 2 USB standard, I guess you could call them, USB ports. I'd forgotten about that.
The Mac Mini only has. Do they have? Yeah.
Yeah. It has 2 Thunderbolt / USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports.
I see it.
Okay. Next, a study performed by, I don't even know how to say this, Me2B. Me2B states that children using Android devices for schoolwork are 3.5 times more likely to have their data compromised. This was especially true if that data went through third-party apps such as Facebook or Google. Then the risk jumped to 8 times more likely than with iOS devices. Me2B says that Apple's new app tracking transparency feature that launched with iOS 14.5 reduces the risk of profile building on Apple devices by third parties and increases the respectfulness gap. I don't think respectfulness is a word between iOS and Android apps. However, the report says that AT&T, the app tracking transparency in iOS, may not fully remove the risk of profile building. Well, no, it likely wouldn't, because And this is why when Facebook made such a big deal about this, they were really kind of shooting themselves in the foot, because most people, in order to keep using something like Facebook, will just click right through the warnings and they'll say, oh, Facebook wants this data. Sure. Psh, okay. Otherwise, how can I talk to Aunt Mildred, or whatever? And depending on how old, because I mean, frankly, for people like you and me that have been using computers for decades, it's like they know everything about us already. So it's not like they're suddenly going to go, what? Guy Serle said what? No, not according to our profile. He wouldn't have done that. So yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I know, Warren, you and I have when this all first broke, I think you had stated pretty much the same thing, that you weren't really all that concerned about the data that sites like Facebook or Google or the rest of them were getting, because I think what was your reasoning behind that?
My main reason is, A, if I'm going to get ads, I'd rather get ads that interest me, and B, there's not that, I supply what information I put out there, and there's nothing that I would mind being regurgitated back to somebody else from there. So it just doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some other people, but that's up to them.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could say with this article is, children are in the category of people who least likely care about either they don't even know about it, and if they knew about it, they don't care what they provide and what other companies provide to them. If it's free to use, then they could probably take like body, like an unused body part as well.
What, my right leg? No, I don't use that. Here,
no,
you can have that. Take it from me.
There might be a toe I don't use. You could have that one.
Couple of toes. But I'll get that free upgrade in Fortnite. Yeah, take it. Done deal.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, because of how these kinds of services are set up, especially with schools and all the rest of it, because schools, as in with business as well, they're going least common denominator, whatever is going to the cheapest, that's going to supply them with what they think they need. And the super cheap ones, well, you pay for it in one way, you pay for it in the other way. So if for whatever reason they went really, really cheap and decided, well, we're going to use Google services as the back end, or we're going to use Facebook as the back end, or Microsoft or whoever, that's annoying, or whoever it is that I've got, there's this hair that's like hanging down off the brim of the cap, and it's just like floating. I can see it's like, oh, it's one of those Guy Serle things. Okay. They're going to build a profile on your kids or your teachers or whoever it is that's participating, because you're kind of a captive audience. If you want your child to be going to school during COVID times, and the only way that they can do that is through these applications that are set up by the schools that they attend, then you've got to hit the fine. It's okay that it's gathering this information, because otherwise you can't use the service. And I don't know
if Google Classroom gathers that much stuff, and
I have no idea.
And the schools aren't telling them to use Facebook either.
All I'm saying is that whatever the service is, there's likely, it's not being hosted by the school district that your kids go to, that it's using some third party service.
Yeah, but there's de facto software out there for students of
Mhm.
legitimate schools. They have their Google Classroom. They have their
Sure.
there's another big one out there too. There's like two or three that sites that they go to, and I think that would be newsworthy if we found out that one of those sites are selling kids information out, and that would that I think
Well,
that
they don't
company,
necessarily have to sell the kids information. They're just gathering information.
or
And
even that. I mean, I think that would be a big turn off of that software, and people would have discussed it
maybe,
already.
but how long did it, how long has it taken? How long did it take Facebook and Twitter and all of these other social media sites to actually admit that they were, gathering information on their users?
I
Even
don't
though,
think they never denied. I don't think they ever denied it. I think they just didn't offer that information out. They never denied that they were doing it.
yeah, and then when they get caught, they make a couple of changes and then quietly make other changes so that they're right back where you started from again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my
This
my
is
son
this is the nature of these services.
my son turns 18 tomorrow.
Oh,
And
congratulations to your son.
thank you. We're excited. We just went through a list of 50 things you could do when you turn 18. So the ones he's excited about is you could buy a pet. So he says he's going to come tomorrow. He's going to come home with a dog.
That's not a good idea.
And then you could also buy pornography. That was in there too. So,
but yeah, just tell him to double up on the porn. Don't bring a dog home.
He said, I'm going to bring some porn home with the dog.
Dogs are forever,
So anyways, he's been using.
I'm not going to finish that thought.
God knows what apps he's been using and what he's been giving up. And I know he doesn't care. And as long as I don't find out, thank you, Adam. As long as I don't, hear about any of it, then I don't care either.
Yep. Okay. Apple might overtake HP as the all-in-one leader, mostly due to its new design. I didn't realize they sold this many. I didn't even know that HP was the all-in-one leader. They're selling roughly 920,000 units in each quarter, as compared to Apple's 860,000. And the global chip shortage could also factor in with that as well, since Apple, and my thinking on that is, since Apple makes their own processors, then they kind of, as far as supply chain goes, they kind of have a leg up on HP, who just uses whoever it is that they can get space in, because and they're competing with all these other companies for the same chips.
HP makes a lot of nice all-in-one HP's desktops. I've seen a bunch of them. I've set up a few for people. And some of them actually have like cool features, like the bottom of the stand is actually a Qi charger. Like on the flat part of the stand, you could just put your phone there and charge it.
Oh, nice.
So and they have some nice designs, but I haven't seen that many other all-in-ones. I think they're pretty much the biggest one that I've seen.
Well, I think it's probably much more expensive to design and create those as compared to just a beige box that you're selling, making $1 million of, where you've got all the standard parts, and you're just using the same case as Dell or any other computer maker that's out there, just slapping your logo on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that much designing with a PC box,
Yeah.
Whereas all-in-one you could play around with, obviously, with what's going on now.
Yeah, but it makes it more expensive to do so.
Well, I mean, Apple just played around with their iMac, and now it looks different, and it's about the same price.
Colors.
And it's got colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, all I'm saying is I've seen the HP all-in-ones. They're nice. They're designed nice. They have a nice thin monitor. And I'm excited for the new iMacs. I want to get my hands on one to see what it's all about.
Yeah. All right. Last thing I have for tonight: Apple updates WebKit to deal with some nasty security bugs. So I guess this is in the 14, because I've got a little message here at the top of my screen saying, do I want to restart for these updates now or try tonight? And I'm afraid to do anything at this moment because it'll destroy things if I do that. So I'm going to ignore it until we're done recording. So I guess because there was what was that bug in WebKit? There was a really bad. I can't believe I didn't write this down. I should have had this written down. The security bug. Anyway, it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't the processor one, but yeah, I don't know. It was a bad
Mazel
one.
tov. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's huh?
What?
Oh, I just said Mazel tov because that's what Adam said about your son's birthday, and it popped into my head
20 minutes ago.
So. Yeah. So that's all we got for tonight. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about, Warren?
Just I was going to mention the story about the iPad Pro 12.9 2021 version may not be available to get until late summer, and I'm just upset about that.
Really? Why have they said just chip shortage? Is this more along the lines of just not able to get the parts?
They say it's because of the screen. They're having problems getting the OLED screens or something like that. But so if you order an iPad Pro 12.9, if you pre-order it, it doesn't ship until like August. So I'm upset. I'm hoping that that's wrong, and I'll be able to walk into a Best Buy and pick one up or an Apple store.
Well, what is the deal with these screens? What makes them like so much better than what Apple was using before?
We'll figure it out. It's what do they say? It's micro OLED or
yeah.
Anyway, I've seen OLED and micro OLED in stores, and it's nice. I used to have a Samsung laptop a few years ago that I don't know I had it that had an OLED screen for the laptop screen, and it's just really nice looking. The blues, the blacks are deep. That's what I said. Yeah, it's micro LED on the iPad. So it's
the Pros, iPad Pros.
On the Pros, yeah.
Yeah.
So it just looks. I mean, it just looks like a more HD type of screen. That's what it is. So, nobody's seen it yet. So, when we see it, we'll know if we want it.
So, what about my crazy conspiracy theory
about
iPads running the macOS?
Like they will, or they can, or they do.
That they will, not this year, but that we're very, very close to having Macs and iPads basically running the same software across the board.
What I'm thinking is, I really want to get a better iPad this year because I'm thinking that iOS 15 or iPad OS 15 is going to be not a merge like you're saying, but it's going to be more of a big step towards, getting the iPad to be more of a computer.
Well, I mean, they're not that far from it now. You've got
they've had
trackpad and mouse support, and at this point, it's just a matter of deciding which features of both OSs that you want to keep.
Right, but I have decent hope that Apple's going to do big things to iPad OS in June. So I want to be prepared.
Well, I guess we'll find out more when WWDC happens
and get that M1 goodness in my iPad. So
that's just crazy.
It is crazy
to have an M1 in an iPad. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for tonight. We really appreciate the fact that you've all come to join us this week on the Mac to the Future Livecast Go. Warren, if people wanted to get a hold of you, what would they have to do?
Well, they probably need to find me, and I don't even know how to contact myself. So Um, I do. I'm on the Facebook thing that you're on. I do Dave's show tomorrow and this show here. So if you found me here, that's pretty much where you'll find me.
Everywhere.
Exactly.
Okay, if you'd like to get a hold of Dave Ginsburg, his Twitter handle is @Dave65. His podcast is In Touch with iOS. You can find out more information on that and with intouchwithios.com. He's also the president of the Suburban Chicago Apple Users Group, which you can find at myscau.org. If you'd like to get a hold of me, my Twitter accounts are MacParrot and VertShark. My other podcasts are the MyMac Podcast, and on occasion, though not much lately, it's Guy's Daily Drive. And you can find all of those, all the videos for those over at vertshark.com or over in my YouTube channel. If you'd like to help support the things that I do, you can buy me a coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. You can do the Patreon thing, patreon.com/MacParrot, or pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. And I think that is going to do it. Thank you, Warren, for showing up tonight. This was certainly...
Dave is not only the president of the Chicago Users Group, but he's also a client.
Only bald people will appreciate that joke.
Which is most of us at this point.
Yeah, well, certainly me. Why do you think I wear a hat every single week?
You should see the back of my head here. So
yeah, well, I'm looking at all that hair right there at the front.
Yeah, but
comparing that to this right here.
If you were standing behind me, you wouldn't be so.
You wouldn't want me behind you, Warren. You just.
I want you behind me, rubbing my bald spot. Whoa,
whoa! Spot. We are going to go. So thank you all, because this is getting very weird. Thank you also very, very much for joining us tonight. I actually got
something better than Adam. They prescribed me something that works. But go ahead. We'll talk offline about that.
So stick around for that, folks. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Right here on the Mac to the Future Livecast Go. Good night.